All right, let's dive into biochemistry. Now, I know what you might be thinking, flashbacks to dense textbooks and complex formulas, but forget all that. This is really the story of, well, us. It's about the molecular logic of life itself, written in a chemical language that connects every single living thing on this planet.
So here's the big question, the one that sits at the very heart of biochemistry. How does a bunch of simple, lifeless molecules, things that just follow the basic rules of chemistry and physics, somehow come together to create something as incredibly complex and vibrant as life? That's the puzzle we're going to piece together today.
Every great story needs a stage, a setting where the action can unfold. And for the story of life, that stage is water. You see, before any of this amazing chemistry can get going, you need a place for it to happen, a universal medium where all the little molecular players can mix, mingle, and react.
So what makes water so special? I mean, it seems so simple, right? H2O. Well, it all boils down to one word: polarity. The oxygen atom in water is, let's just say, a bit of an electron hog. It pulls the shared electrons from the hydrogens closer to itself, which creates this slight negative charge on the oxygen side and leaves the hydrogen side slightly positive.
Because of that polarity and its unique bent shape, each water molecule basically acts like a tiny, weak magnet. The positive end of one molecule is attracted to the negative end of another. That little attraction is called a hydrogen bond. And when you have trillions of these bonds forming a massive network, well, that's what gives water all its incredible, life-supporting properties. It's the perfect solvent.
Okay, so we've got our stage set with water. Now we need the players. Life needs a whole cast of characters to build its structures, to run the machinery, to store fuel, and of course, to hold on to the blueprints. These are the four major classes of what we call macromolecules.
And here they are, our four key players. You've got proteins, which are like the little machines of the cell built from amino acids. Then there are nucleic acids. You know them as DNA and RNA. They're all about information. Carbohydrates, that's your go-to energy source. And finally, lipids, which are crucial for building membranes and storing energy for the long haul. Each one has a totally distinct job, but they're all absolutely vital.
But you know, if one of these players had to get the starring role, it would absolutely be proteins. This quote from a classic biochemistry textbook really nails it. Proteins do, well, pretty much everything. From the keratin in your hair to the hemoglobin carrying oxygen in your blood, they are the undisputed workhorses of the cell.
All right, so we have the stage and we have the players. Now we need the action. But here's a massive problem. Almost all the chemical reactions that life depends on are, on their own, incredibly, painfully slow. We're talking reactions that could take years to happen naturally. Life just doesn't have that kind of time. We need to speed things up, a lot.
And the solution that life came up with is just brilliant. Enzymes. Think of enzymes as life's catalysts. They're almost always proteins that have folded into a very specific 3D shape, creating a little pocket called an active site. This site is perfectly shaped to grab a specific molecule and make a chemical reaction happen at just mind-boggling speeds.
And when I say speed things up, I don't mean a little nudge. We are talking about a colossal acceleration. Enzymes can make reactions happen over 10,000 times faster. And in a lot of cases, it's more like millions or even billions of times faster. It's no exaggeration to say they make the chemistry of life possible.
So how in the world do they do that? Well, it's all about energy. You can think of any chemical reaction as needing to get over an energy hill to get started. That hill is the activation energy. What an enzyme does is it basically digs a tunnel through that hill. It dramatically lowers the energy barrier, making it way, way easier for the reaction to happen. It doesn't change where you start or where you finish, just makes the journey a whole lot easier. Now picture thousands of these different enzyme-driven reactions all happening at once inside a single cell. Some breaking things down, others building things up, all interconnected. That huge, bustling network of chemical reactions, that is what we call metabolism. You can really think of metabolism as having two sides of a coin. First, there's catabolism. That's the process of breaking down complex stuff like the food you eat to release energy. And then you have anabolism, which is the flip side. It takes that energy and uses it to build up all the complex molecules your body needs to grow and function, like new proteins and DNA.
Okay, we've got the stage, the players, and the action. We are so close, but there is one last, absolutely critical piece missing from our puzzle. How does the cell know what to do? How does it know which proteins to build and when to build them?
all this amazing machinery needs a script, right? A set of instructions.
And those instructions, of course, are written in the language of DNA. This incredible molecule is the master blueprint for life. It's this super stable double helix archive that holds all the information needed, not just to build an organism, but to keep it running and to pass that information on to the next generation.
So how does the cell actually use these instructions? Well, it follows a process we call the central dogma. Think of DNA as a rare, precious reference book in a library that you can't check out. To use an instruction, you first make a temporary copy of a specific page or gene. That copy is called messenger RNA. That process is transcription. Then, that RNA copy is taken out of the library nucleus to the cell's workshop, the ribosome, which reads the copy and builds the protein. That's translation. So DNA stores it, RNA moves it, and proteins do it. So, as we zoom out, here's the most important takeaway. None of these parts we've talked about, the stage, the players, the action, the script, none of them work alone. The real magic of biochemistry, the logic of life, is how they all seamlessly integrate into one dynamic, self-regulating, and beautiful system. So let's put it all together one last time. You've got water setting the stage. You have the macromolecules acting as the players. The enzymes and metabolism are driving all the action, and the whole performance is directed by the script written in DNA and RNA. Put them all together and you get this incredible emergent property that we call life.
And that leaves us with a pretty profound final thought. The amazing thing is, the fundamental roles we just talked about, the genetic code, the same 20 amino acids building proteins, the way we use energy, it's basically universal for all life on Earth, from the simplest bacterium to us. So if we're all running on the same fundamental biochemical operating system, what does that tell you about our deep shared history and our common molecular roots? Something to think about.